Many companies nowadays are writing a lot of alternative and comparison articles. And that's great. You should definitely do that because that is a great spot for you to shine and attract a lot of new customers, especially if you're not a category leader in your field. However, I see many companies doing the wrong way, and 95% of them don't get any results from their efforts. And in this episode, I want to show you how to convert a lot of customers through the alternative and comparison articles. For the context, we at Contenthorse over the last 3 years wrote over 300 comparison and alternative articles for 20 plus of our clients, and on average, our conversion benchmark for our conversion rates for those articles, so from a reader to our customers, is between 5 to 15%. And we also had sometimes some cases where one article attributed to over $500,000 in annual recurring revenue. So right now I'm going to show you what you must do in order to get great conversions and what you should avoid for any cost. First, so let's start. The first thing is that you must not be promotional and try to sell your tool at all costs. Instead, try being honest, try being real, and try being objective. Write about both good and bad things about your competitors. But pay attention here, don't shit on them, right? I see many articles out there saying a lot of bad things about their competition, and that at the end their own tool is like the best of the bests. Like readers, I as the reader, I would not have trust in you if I'm reading that piece, right? So really your goal is to unleash and build trust with your reader, and the only way to do that is by being objective and by being honest while writing your articles. The second thing that you definitely must not do is present your tool as it is the best tool ever, although it probably isn't, and that's totally okay. So the real thing is here to compare your tool the same way as you're comparing your competitors, right? So write about both good and bad things about you. It's okay to have bad things, to have shortcomings. And let's face it, like your tool is not the right fit for everyone, right? And you should definitely not try to play a game where you're trying to convert everyone. You have a very specific persona that's going to use your product, and write the article that way that you're speaking to that specific persona. If you speak to everyone, you are essentially speaking to no one. So speak to that one persona, highlight your good traits, but also highlight your bad traits. The third biggest mistake that I see is that people are not writing the articles from the user's perspective and the user's intent. So I, as a reader, I type down a keyword, let's say MailChimp alternatives in Google, and the reason I did that is because I'm looking for a better MailChimp alternative that's appropriate for my use case. So I might have different use cases, right? So not everyone who reads that article, they have the same use case. And that's why inside your article, you should show people what tool is the best tool for their particular use case, right? So your product might be the winner for one of group of people, but the other one might be a better fit for example, enterprise customers, right? The third one might be a good fit for a very specific niche, right? The goal here for you is to be a winner for a very specific group, and that's the best way to get more conversions. The next mistake that I see is that usually people start the article with a boring introduction, right? So no one cares about the importance of using a certain types of tool. I mean, since they are looking for these articles, they already know that, right? They already know that using an email marketing solution is important, right? So instead, what you should do inside the introduction to make your entire article engaging is to address the most common problems people have while using an alternative that you're writing an article about. So if you're writing an article on the best MailChimp alternatives, then highlight in the introduction, in the first sentence, the most common problem people are experiencing with MailChimp. Because this essentially builds trust with your readers, and it's a clear signal for them that you know that you did your homework, right? And that the insights they will find inside your article will be relevant for them. And one of the last mistake that I see that people make is that they don't have a call to action inside the article, or they either have too many of them or there are no call to actions at all. And to be honest, like, you can't convert someone if you don't have a call to action. And on the other side as well, if you have too many call to actions, that will just turn people away. So what we found from testing with 300 different articles is that having 2 to 3 call to action buttons at the top is the perfect way to go. So one call to action after you let's say describe your tool, and the second call to action at the bottom of the article, and that's more than you need, right? Don't be overly sales promotional, it will just turn people away. Anyway, so those are like some biggest mistakes that I see and what should you do inside. But let me just now quickly guide you through some other, let's say, good practices that you are following inside Contenthorse that will help you get more conversions. You need, while writing those articles, you need to be concise and actionable, right? So what we like to do is we like to include a TLDR section at the end of an introduction, right? Because not everyone has the time or energy to read a 3,000 word blog post. So in that case, we write down a TLDR at the end of the introduction, telling them what alternative is the best for specific use cases. And we also there create one comparison sheet that highlights the differences between the most important features, pricing, the best use cases, etc. The good way to build a trust with readers is to briefly explain what process you use to research different tools, right? The best thing is, if you can, is to go out and use those tools by yourself and by your team, right? If you can use those tools, then perfect. There are some tools that you can't use, or you need to go through a really, really friction-rich sales process. Of course, in those cases, you won't be able to use them. But if that happens, what you should do, my honest advice is to interview your competitors' customers on why they like the tool and why they don't like the tool, what could be better, etc. Because this would bring you the industry expertise, this would bring you the insights that will make your article even more engaging and that your readers can better connect with it. So also the one other thing that you should do is take a deep look at G2 Crowdcaptera and read dozens, hundreds of reviews if needed, so you can really nail down on why should someone use each tool. Another thing, so if you have time, if you have resources, but I guess you do, create a comparison table of different tools, right, that you evaluated. So it should be something easy to read, something simple, something that will easily tell people what is the best solution for them and easily help them compare. And then if they want to read more, if they need more insights, then they can read your in-depth comparison about it, right? And the last thing is be actionable, right? So for whatever claim you make, for whatever claim you make inside your article, you must show proof. It's not enough just to say, hey, you know what, MailChimp has a poor UX and UI. Okay, that's good, but show proof of that, right? Otherwise, if you don't show proofs, people will not take you seriously and you won't be able to build trust in them, right? If you say that someone is good for a certain type of people, then show a proof why, right? That's why we tend to use as much screenshots as possible inside those articles. Do this, do what I mentioned you right now, and you will probably achieve conversion rates bigger than 5%. Good luck.